Welcome to the video that's going to show you how an international students from any country can land an H-1B job in the US. So why do I say that this is possible for you? If you're watching, you probably flew millions of miles across the ocean or just on an airplane to come to the US to study. And your parents might have been crying when they left you at the airport. They may have been also very proud that you were able to study in the greatest country in the world. But you realize, hey, maybe I want to stay in the US. I don't want to go back to my home country because I think there are better opportunities for me here. Now, this is the exact video for you. Because how do I know it's possible? Because I've helped my clients who are international students land their dream jobs in the US. So maybe you are, just starting out, or you've been submitting resumes but not getting the right answers, or you're getting interviews but somehow you just never get that elusive H-1B offer. I've seen it all, and let me tell you, it can be difficult. You may wake up in the middle of the night wondering, did I study the right major? Did I go to the right school? What is going on? Because somehow something is not working, right? You know you're smart, you know you're educated, you know you can offer a lot to the world, but somehow you're just not getting the responses that you want. You may think, oh my God, is it racism? Is it because I don't understand the culture? Or is it because I'm just somehow crazy or strange or unemployable? Rest assured that I don't know you personally, but I don't think that's the issue. I do feel that the issue is something that can be easily fixed. But obviously, it's a little bit elusive right now, so that's why you can't see it. Because if you knew how, you would not be watching this video, right? If you knew how, you would be working at a job right now, right? Or maybe you're just watching this out of curiosity, but I bet 90% of you guys are watching because you're freaking tired of searching for a job. Putting in 100% effort, by the way, definitely not an effort issue, but you're just not getting what you want, which is a job, right? With school, you may be able to, stay up all night, and I understand this very well because I used to be an architecture major at UC Berkeley. Go Bears! But it was a very tiring process. But the thing with the job hunt is that you may see people who are dumber than you, who are not as experienced, who don't do projects as well as you do, get the job, right? And they may be American or not. We'll talk about the visa issue later on in the video, but most of the time, it's not because of their skills. It's because they know how to find a job, right? So if you are international, obviously your parents value education, and I don't know what it is that they do, but I bet you 100% if you went back to the country that you want, they'll get you a job like that, or you already know how to do that in your home country. But why is it that when you come here, somehow everything is turned around, right? You have no idea how to find a job. Nobody's responding to you. It's like your name is a curse, and all the employers just part ways, right? Why is there that issue? So I've discovered there's really 4 issues if you're struggling to find an H-1B visa. So let's dive into the meat of the presentation. I'm going to be talking about 4 steps that you can take and do right now to improve your situation. Alrighty? So the first problem is that you guys actually don't know that there are H-1B employers online. I know this might sound kind of dumb, but you don't change until you realize, oh, this is not working. A lot of students will, they'll go apply for the job, and then they're surprised when they don't sponsor, right? So let me backtrack a little bit on talking about what an H-1B visa is, because an H-1B visa is essentially filing a legal document where you can work in the US legally for 3 years. Now this document really is just a document, but what makes people so hesitant to sponsor is that they have to spend $4,000 to $7,000 US to pay for the lawyers to file the fee for you, right? So in its essence, it's economic, right? So we have to pay more for you than the average Joe. That's fine, because if you're able to prove that you're worth way more than $4,000 to $7,000 to sponsor you, then that's a non-issue, right? You will see a lot of software engineers, people working in technology companies that get sponsored like that. Why? Because we really need those people to, really amp up our economy, and they're highly skilled. Most of the time, a lot of them have master's degrees, but I've helped my clients get H-1B sponsors just with bachelor's, but it is a little bit easier when you're more highly educated. But anyways, first step is that people don't even know this amazing website, and I'm going to do a screen share with you so you can see what I am talking about. So the site is this, RedBusto. So I absolutely love this website. Let me know if you guys can see it. So you guys should be able to see this. And what's amazing is that, not every company in the US will sponsor you. But a lot of times they will say, oh, we don't know what this sponsoring thing is. We don't know how to help you. But if this is a place where they've sponsored before, so that's not the issue, right? So let's take for example. So if I want to type in a zip code, I just I want to work for a company that's near me. So what if I type in the zip code of Berkeley, where I used to live? Maybe I'm a little bit forgetting things. Maybe there's not. Maybe I take a look at this zip code. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going in the wrong field. Sorry, guys. 9474 in this field. All right. So if you search for it, boom, right? If I search for Berkeley H-1B sponsors, I immediately see how many people have sponsored me, right? So this is a great tool. A lot of times people don't even utilize this, and it's understandable because they don't know what it is, but now there's no excuse, right? Only apply to the companies that have previously sponsored, because that is what's going to help you get hired, and that's a database, right? H-1B visa sponsor. So definitely check out this. And the other thing that you can also do is go by the company, right? So let's say we search for Google, and maybe you have a software engineering degree and you have no idea what titles you can get. So if you want to look at some titles, these are the things that you can definitely look at. This website has been a godsend, and I think that not many people who are not so deep in the search know about it, so that's why I'm going to tell you about it right now. Boom, Google. All right. So what's perfect about this website is that it shows you even the salary range, right? So that's a great thing. They show you the salary range, and they show you, oh, in 2009, 559 were certified. And boom, 2014, last year, 2,401. And there were some withdrawals, there were some, denies. But the system is a lottery, so you do want to understand there's a certain amount of risk in it. But if you don't apply, you'll never get it, right? So here are some ideas, right? And that brings me to my second point. People don't even know what job titles they're going through. And I don't blame you. I was a recent grad as well. When I was job searching, I had 0 internships, and it's not because I didn't want to try. I was doing work study, right? So if I did some internships, a lot of them tend to be unpaid, and because of my financial situation, didn't work out that way. But, when I was applying for jobs, I realized I didn't even know what job titles I knew, right? So, even if you are, let's say, a client of mine, she graduated a finance degree, doesn't mean that she has to be in finance as a title. She can be a financial analyst, she can be a consultant, she can be an auditor, she can be an accountant, she can be a bookkeeper, any of these things, right? So I want you to really think about, after this video, I don't want you to say, oh, I don't know, just any job that can give me an H-1B visa, or like anything that is going to help me grow. That's not the way to demonstrate value, okay? So when I say value, it's like, are you like a beggar, or are you somebody who's like the top 1 cardiac surgeon in the Midwest US, right? The more specific you get, the more valuable you become, right? Even a general practitioner doesn't make more than, you know, a surgeon. So think about that next time you job search, when you just say, oh, I just want anything. You may think you're doing them a favor by being more open and being more flexible, but that's not it. It comes across as very desperate. And as we all know, when you're very desperate, people can smell it. They can take advantage of you. It's just not the best situation, right? So you look at it, obviously, software engineer. There's support engineer. There's people who are, what's up with all these withdrawns? There were people who were certified, withdrawn. There were people who were finance director, technical program managers. There are people who are, let me make this more breathing. This is too squished. Anyways, there are people who are software engineers, client service manager. There were people who, I don't know why they put certified withdrawn. Maybe the people who are certified, they're protecting their name, but you know, this just gives you an example, right? Associate product marketing manager. If I, let's go to their rival, which is Facebook. We can search for different job titles, right? So it's not a question of can you get it or what companies are there to sponsor you. It's all out there, right? There's so many companies, and sometimes, you know, you don't want to be like, oh my God, I'm demanding too much, because sometimes the company is just not in a financial situation to help you, and that's okay. It's just that they're not making enough money. Not that they're bad people, but it's just business-wise, it's about finances, right? So, you know, just look for companies that have the ability to sponsor you. So, you know, Facebook, a little bit, you know, obviously a little bit smaller than Google just because they've been around much longer. But there were people who were software engineers. There were people who were group technical program managers. So obviously there's a wide range. You can also enter, you know, let's say Oracle or something. Because the thing is with bigger companies, it's obviously, you know, they have the funds, they're able to sponsor. But the company that I worked for, there were only about like 7 to 10 people, and they were able to sponsor 2 H-1B visas. Because why? They had very high margins, right? So don't discount the small company, because they would, sometimes if you check them out, they do sponsor, right? But here's a lot of computer systems analysts. There are electronics engineers, network administrators. Literally, there are so many different things that you could be that there's really no excuse, right? Again, the website is RedBusto. You guys can see this. Google's hiding something. But anyways, redbus2us.com. So the Google Hangout, it has a green bar across from it. So it's redbus2us.com/H1B visa sponsors. And you can see that. And then you can just, you know, maybe it's just a specific title looking at financial analysts. Check out how many people they sponsor. So you can see, you know, also you can just go by job title and see, oh, okay, Siemens, you know, SanDisk, NetApp, all these sorts of companies. So there's literally so many different companies that you can go to sponsor. So I hope that solves the, you know, issue of feeling, you know, you don't have, you know, sponsors. So let me go back to me again. Ready? Just put up my hair. So the third problem is that you import your country's resume to the US. Yep. There's different resumes, and you can really do a simple Google search and see a huge difference, right? So in case you're wondering, I'm Chinese. I get a lot of people who ask me, hey, is this resume good? And it's not in English, it's in Chinese. And okay, you know, fine, maybe they haven't gotten to translate it, but it's not just the language, it's the actual format. Like the format is just totally would not fly. So, you know, PSA for people who watching who are not familiar with this, if you put your gender, your company thinks they will discriminate. Like, you can file a lawsuit for discrimination against gender. People did not know that, right? And that's totally understandable, because in China you do a certain way, and I don't know what country that you're watching from, but maybe that's the same, right? You cannot put your birth date. That's age discrimination, right? You cannot put a picture. That's just hiring people based on their looks. That's also illegal. If you've been following, I think Hollister or Abercrombie, there were people who sued because the uglier people. Man, I'm so politically incorrect right now. But some people were not hired based on their looks. Okay, can we say that? And that's a huge thing in the U.S., right? So maybe your country does not have a culture of suing anybody anytime they fall down. But in the U.S., you have to be understanding that they don't care about how many kids you have. They don't care about, where you were born. That's also discrimination. They don't care about, any sort of too personal details. They don't care that you're married or single. Don't put that, okay? That may be the reason that you're getting rejected. So you definitely have to look for the resume format, because that might be the reason you get rejected, right? And lastly, I want to talk about interviews, because what can we say? Interviews are the bane of so many people's existence, especially immigrants, especially international students who are like, I came here to learn English, right? Because your English may not be perfect, but a lot of times people mistakenly think just because of their English it's not good, that the interview is bad, right? So if you're a TOEFL teacher, of course, your English has to be perfect, absolutely 100% perfect. But if you are like a software engineer or a financial analyst or like, PR consultant, nobody cares if you have a slight accent, okay? So we have like 41 million immigrants in the US. We are freaking used to hearing accents, right? But if you cannot articulate your value, and when I say value, I mean like, if I hire you, are you going to give me more value than you give me in salary? That's something to think about, because it's not just the accent, the culture. And I just got off a call with somebody who thought, oh, it's because I don't know pop cultural references. And the thing was, it was her, like, she wasn't able to articulate why she should be hired. Like, she gave very generic words, like basically like saying like I'm hardworking, and then not backing it up with anything, right? So, if you're in the financial field, it's very easy. I'll just give you a quick tip. One of my clients, she volunteered for the IRS, and she volunteered by doing tax preparation. So it was a volunteer position, but she was able to say, I helped 10 people save $5,000. That's freaking amazing, right? And that's not even a paid position, but it's very clear to me that if I hire her, she's going to be very smart with money, right? And as a company, I want somebody who's like that, right? So think about this when you are interviewing, because it's not just the accent. It's not just the language. It's not just that everything is perfect. How many Indian software engineers have you seen that they have very thick accents, right? But they get the job because they're very highly in demand, and they can talk about their value a little bit more specifically than somebody with just like very non-technical skills, right? And if you have non-technical skills, that's fine, but you have to figure out how can you show yourself to be valuable, because a company only cares about what? What's the number one mission? It's to make money, right? So if you can show them that you can make money for the company, you're 50% in, right? The rest is just making sure that you can demonstrate you're worth more than the 4,000 and 7,000 to get into the H-1B, right? Because at the end of the day, it's just the money, right? But if you can present yourself well, they're going to hire you, right? So that's something to think about for sure. So as a recap, let me go to my little notebook to tell you guys what's the 4 steps you need to do as an international student to land your H-1B. First is know what companies sponsor you, okay? Do not waste time on any companies that have never sponsored. You do not have the luxury right now, And 2, know the job titles that are sponsored, right? So if you know that these are the titles that get sponsored, you can brand yourself as such, right? You don't want to be somebody like, oh, just give me any job, because that's somebody who's lazy, and so lazy they never did research and just wants a job handed to them. Nobody likes that, all right? And number 3 is to use your resume in the American format. Google, okay, Google this, Google the job title you decided, and look at what exactly it is that American resumes are at, right? If you have anything like gender, birth date, where you were born, a picture, get rid of that right now, because that's not helping you. And the companies think you can sue them if they reject you. Number 4, practice interviews, because if you don't practice interviews, you're going to feel like, you know, you will get a million opportunities, but you'll never get it because you're not hitting the nail on the head. And if you can't articulate your economic value, you're dead, man. And I just want to say, you know, this is a video that I made with a lot of passion, because this is one of the most passionate things I want to do with my life, is to help immigrants just like people who are me. I guess I'm still an immigrant. I'm a U.S. citizen now, but you know, the experience, it never leaves you, right? So I came to the U.S. in 2000. I understand how tough it can be. I learned English really completely after, you know, 2002. So, and then I became a TOEFL teacher, and now I'm a career coach for immigrants. I know how hard it can be, and you know, these YouTube videos are great, but they don't know what you're going through, right? They don't know what keeps you up at night, what your specific situation is, you know, what's going on at your school, what's your work history. It takes another person to point it out, right? Because if you think it's going to improve with time, could be true, right? But how much time you have, right? Your visa might expire. F1, you know, has a limit. It's not forever, right? So if you really need help and you're 100% committed to finding the job in the U.S., I would invite you to head on over to my website, which is www.freecallwithlee.com. So I'm just going to do a share screen so you can see what it is that I'm talking about. So I'm going to share the screen with you. So it's www.freecallwithlee.com, and I'll get to know a bit more about your situation through the discovery form. So, you know, see my picture so you know it's me, it's not anybody else. Put in your name and then email your US phone number. Talk about what your ideal job title is, what's your dream company, and how many job interviews have you had, just so I can see what you need the most help with. And tell me why you think you haven't gotten your dream job yet. So what are your obstacles? What would be your ideal job scenario? And how committed you are, okay? And then if you're willing to invest in yourself or open to finding ways to do so. Alrighty, so thank you so much for watching this video. And again, head on over to freecallwithlee.com if you feel called to do so, to talk with me personally, to have a free 30-minute discovery call session with me to pinpoint exactly what it is that you need help with, and to see if we'd be a good fit to work together. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next videos.